Hello, Squirrel One here, and welcome to today's card, which is all about pansies. Now, you look at this and you might think, what is she going to show us today? And it will need a bit of concentrating because it's quite a complex card, but I wanted to show you how you can go from this, basically, which looks quite sweet and innocent, to this. With a few moves, you can have, oops, let me just stand that up again, a small easel card using the new pansies. I'm just going to tilt it up slowly so you can see how the easel card works. So it goes all the way around. It's a bit complex, but once you know how, you'll be doing them all the time. And also, really, just to show, it does fold down, as I showed just now, into a size where you can pop it into a normal size envelope and send it wherever you want to. You might need to send a few joining instructions in terms of how to put the card together when it gets received by its recipient. But it's a real fantastic statement card using the lovely new pansy patch and the pansy dies, which Stampin' Up have brought out in their new catalogue. Also, I'm using some of the lovely new in colours. So this one uses both the Evening Evergreen and the Soft Succulent. Some new of the pansy papers. So lots and lots of things to show you for this card and how it all comes together. Now I'm partly going to keep this on the side, just in terms I might need to reference it in terms of just a few technical things that have gone on underneath in order to make this happen. But let you show you the pansy papers first of all. So as with many of the Stampin' Up papers, they are beautiful. So there are lots of lovely papers. Look at these with the cute bees, which can be used for all sorts of cards and decorating. Got some nice leaf shapes, beautiful flowers. And as you can see, the one I used on the demo card was this one with lots of pansies. But in a minute, I'm going to make one using this paper with a different colourway so you can get an idea of how it all things. The other thing about these papers is they have some dies which go with them, and actually the dies also work on the papers. They also work particularly on the pansy flower individually. So if you get the complete set, which is the pansy patch dies and stamps, let me show you both of them. There's the pansy patch stamp set. Lots of lovely, I love the little font for the happy birthday and the thank you. Lots of little ways you can make your pansies work. And then you also have the die set, which makes your life so much easier when you're putting all the pansies together. But I'm going to go through it because you look at this and think, oh my goodness, what goes where? And I'm going to show you that today. So let me put all this to one side for the moment. Now, first of all, and I should say I have seen somebody else do this card, and I'm really, really sorry I didn't get their name. So apologies, I'm not crediting you, and I know it's not my original card. It's somebody else's. So first of all, we're starting with a base card, which is 8 inches square, so 8 inches by 8 inches. You're going to score it at 4 inches and 4 inches, so you've got a cross. Okay, so that's an 8-inch squared piece of card. In this instance, I've done pale papaya. I've scored it at 4 inches and 4 inches, and then I have cut up one of the sets, but I'll just, sorry, there's another scoring I should have mentioned. Sorry, you score at 4 and 4, absolutely fine. Then turn it over and you're going to score, it doesn't really matter I suppose, from where the 4-inch mark is halfway there to halfway on the other side. So between, on just two sides, so you can get the triangle effect. So let me just run through those scores again. So 8-inch squared piece of card, you're going to score at 4 inches down and 4 inches across. Then you're going to do two other scores from where the 4-inch mark comes out to a 4-inch mark on just one half, and on the other half you're going to cut up so you've got one side which folds back into triangles like that, and the other half which cuts up the two squares. Okay, now in terms of construction, this is your basic construction space, so it comes together. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to fold and burnish the folds across that way, and then again ups and downs. You'll need to make sure you really burnish those with your bone folder, and I'm sorry I can't find mine to hand. And then finally you'll need to burnish the triangles so they go back neatly on the back, okay? So I'm then going to take it, because the next thing we're going to do is I've cut out 2 triangles which are going to go onto the corners, and they will, you need to just think about how they're going to come together. Let me just put the fold back. Ideally what you want is that so your square comes back together. So this was a 3¼ inch square of the Pansy Petals paper, just divided into 2 triangles, okay? So let's stick those triangles down first. So when this folds down at the end, when you get to the point where you might want to post it, that will fold and that will be the top of your card when people see it, okay? The other thing you will want to do is you have 2 base coloured cards. One is for you to write your message on, and again these are 3¾ inch squares, and in this instance I've also done a square of Calypso Coral as my contrasting colour base. If you look on the original one, I've got a contrasting base in order for it to stand out, okay? There we go. Now, okay so far. Now the next thing we're going to do is I've used, I think these are really pretty, these are the vellum doilies. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on the Calypso Coral side really only. And this is where now, normally when you glue vellum, you can see the glue coming through, but in this instance it really won't matter because we're going to cover it up. So what you need to just do is put a little bit of glue, and I'm using just a normal liquid glue here, in and around the middle. You don't want to go out too far, but just in the middle of the vellum, because just a few extra dots, if you see what I mean, just to make sure it's going to be secured to the base. Because these won't be so. Now, when you're coming to stick this down, what you want to do is you want to stick it so it is down towards the bottom right corner. So it's not in the centre, but it needs to be down towards the bottom right corner, because actually this is the part you're going to see. I'm just going to stick that down. There we go. It doesn't matter that it's, the glue can be seen, because you're going to be covering that up very shortly. In fact, let's cover that up straight away. I just need to double check my construction, because sometimes while that's drying, what I'm just going to do is put that to one side, and I think we'll construct the fun bit now, which is the pansy. So I'm just going to get all my pansy bits, and apologies, there are a few of these. So I want to just take it carefully and slowly so you can see. So there's one already. So first of all, let's do a leaf. So the leaf, I've done one already, you can see here. So what you've got here is you've got evening evergreen as the silhouette part on top of a soft succulent base, okay? And again, I'm just going to take a little bit of liquid glue, puts a few dots on, and then just pop that, and you'll find that the shapes and the dies, oh gosh, as my underneath one moves, that doesn't help, sorry. They are fiddly, but just take your time with it. There we go. So there we go, I've got 2 leaves, which is great. And I've got 1 leaf which doesn't have a top on it. The other thing I've already pre-cut out is a pansy from the papers. In this instance I've gone with a little, I would say that's a pale papaya and a Calypso Coral. I'm just going to put those because they're needed for something slightly separate, along with a small circle of papaya. Now the bigger pansy. Actually no, not quite yet. Let's do we'll do the bud. So if you recall, on my card there was a bud that came up to one side. So I've got a stem. There are 3 bits to this. Just move that to the other side. I just need that bit that's got snuck under there. So these are the bits we need to make the bud. So first of all, I'm going to take the Calypso Coral top bit, and that's going to go on top of the white base. Okay, that's ready to make your bud. Then I'm going to just I'm going to turn my stem over. Now if I was any good, I'd know what the parts of the plant were, but I don't, which is a bit disappointing really, because my husband's a gardener. He will not probably forgive me for that. So there we go, just put a little bit of glue on that, and you're going to put that on top of your bud. Now you could leave it like that, but I thought it would be really nice to have a bit of contrast. I've also cut out another stem and just trimmed off the stalk bit. So I've got a top bit in the darker green, evening evergreen, to give it a nice contrast. And that's going to go just on top of your soft succulent base. So you can just line them up. There we go. Okay. So there's your bud all ready to go. So just put that along with the other bits that are together. Now, the big pansy. So the big pansy comes in a number of parts. You'll need a big white, and in this contrasting colour I've done and gone with the Calypso Coral. So I'm just going to pop my glue around on the edges. Okay. Then you will have 2 white petals for the back. So you end up with, the other thing is you've got the centerpiece of the pansy. Now you could use a contrasting colour for that. As you'll see, look there, it fits exactly. I'm just going to use the Calypso Coral again though for mine. And yes, you are left with a white gap. So before I go any further though, I'm going to put my pansy bit together. So I'm going to just take a moment to place them and just work this out. So don't rush this, make sure you've got everything, because you can see they're quite wide, so you might want to just bring them in a little bit or fiddle with them slightly. So they do so the 2 back petals do overlap. So I'm just going to put some glue on the side that I know is going to overlap. I'm just going to spread that out a bit. I've managed to get it a bit too much really. But by using the liquid glue, you also give yourself the chance to, let me just pop that on top and get a sense of that, to have a bit of a wiggle if you need to get them in place. Now I'm happy with that. I'm going to glue that down, and then because you can see it's mostly, that's how it will fit together. And then finally you will have a little centre which is very small. It has got a point on one end and a circle on the other, so the point goes upwards. Okay, I'm going to use my placing tool for this because otherwise I can just see myself getting into a big pickle with this one. I pop that on there, and actually as I've got the lid on, I'm just going to use it to press it down on the other end. Right, so there's my basic pansy, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my 2 leaves to this side. Okay, so that's the next thing to do. So just a little bit of glue down the side, you know you're going to have them. And first of all, you'll pick up one and then the other. So that's the first one on. And for the second one, you need to put a little bit of glue on the back of the green leaf as well, and just up a little bit more. There we go, so there's your pansy coming together. And then finally, you're gonna, and you just have a look, work up, because you want the stem of your bud to roughly go between where the leaf and the flower join, with a little bit of height, not too much or you won't get it to stay in. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of diagonal glue, if you like, and put that up. I'm going to wiggle it because I need to make sure I've got it in the right place, and I can't quite tell that from that side. But there we go. Yeah, that's all good. So your pansy base has sort of come together, okay? And that's, just need to put that to one side while we do the construction part for the base card, okay? Let me put that up there. So I'm a bit gluey now as well, sorry about that. So back to, by this time, your vellum will have completely dried and that's all ready to go. So using the layering circles dies, I've cut out a circle, but I've folded it in half. It was in a folded card. I'd already folded a piece and cut it out. So folded it in half. So you've got an incomplete circle, if you like. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach that to the base. Okay, which will be the base. So as you can see from, let me bring over my original. Sorry, too many things in this larger card base. And not enough hands in my instance. So as you can see, we've got a base circle, which is what this pale papaya piece will be. And you can see roughly using a guide of the vellum, roughly where you're going to put it to make it work. Okay, so that'll be how it opens. However, before you do that, you need to fold down. That's the base, and this is the top part, which the actual pansy will be attached to. So in order for it to be folded down, so you can put it in the post, you need to just fold this part over. And so you're going to fold it closed and then fold up. So fold it closed and then fold up, okay? No one's going to see this. This is all part of the back construction bit, okay? So fold it over. You've not cut out the complete circle. You got it closed and you're going to fold up the bottom part, if that makes sense, okay? And what you're going to then do is, I have the reverses of the pansy papers have some beautiful ginghams on. So I used one of the ginghams for the base of the last one. And we're going to use that as the base which it all constructs and fits together. So now you've got this ready to go. I'm sorry I haven't got my bone folder with me today. I don't know what I've done with it actually. We're just going to fit the base bit. Now you've got it folded. So we're just going to glue the base on. And I'm lining it up with this. I'm just going to do it slightly around in the corner. Sorry, I've got this edge of this vellum here. I'm going to line it up the edge of the vellum there. And I'm using the pale papaya for this one. Okay. I just need to leave it like that for a moment. Then, taking my gingham circle, and this is on the layering circles, this is the third largest circle I worked out was the best one for this. I'm going to take the pansy in its complete wonderfulness and it's going to go on to, I'm going to just make sure my gingham's quite straight because otherwise it all comes it looks a bit awry otherwise. A little bit of gingham, and that's how it's going to lie on there, okay? So you just need to glue. Actually, I think I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of my pansy. Apologies for that. So that's now how your pansy's on your gingham circle. And then you're going to attach your gingham circle to this top half only, and it is only the top half. Before you do, you just want to have a little bit of a fiddle, because what we're going to do is you need to make sure it will stand up, and I'll show you how to do the stopper for the stand up bit in a minute. But you need to make sure, because you're not going to glue it right at the bottom. You're going to glue it, I don't know if I can show you here. You can see there's a little bit of an overlap. Sorry, really cat-handed, between the base. So you've come up from the base. Okay, so it's about, I would say, because if you stick it too far down, then you'll see some of it start showing at the edges. So you basically want it so it's all hidden, the back of your papaya base. Okay, I don't know if I'm able to show this. There we go. That's how it'll be. And then what happens is it stands up like that. So there we are. Can you see how it's coming together now? So the final thing is to make the stopper on which everything will stop, so to speak. So I've taken a small circle of the pearl papaya, which I'm going to use. That will be my first stop bit. Okay. So I'm just going to glue that down. I'm just going to pop that on. So opposite the corner, because you know it's going to be in the right place. And don't worry if it does ping out your stop at the moment, because it's not a full stop yet, so to speak, sorry. Not the complete stop part. And the second part is we're going to take a pansy, which I've taken out from the Pansy Petals paper with another little leaf. I'm just going to attach those. In order to make the stop more effective, I'm just going to put a dimensional on the, so if it's necessary, you could use that as the stop. There we go. Now this pansy can come down slightly. As long as you're still within the square, it's all going to fold away and be able to go in the post, so to speak. There we go. So you have actually now finished. So let's just put it together so you can see how it would be for somebody receiving it. So yes, it's a bit fiddly to get there. Let me put the other one up as well, so you've got the contrasting colours for how they come together. But there we are. With the pansy easels all ready to go. How lovely are they? Very nice and spring-like. I know it's a bit of a fiddle making them, but the pansy is lovely and you can see how easy it is to come together. The easel card just is a little bit of a technical. Just need to take a bit of care when you're putting on the technical. Make sure you've got the things folding in the right way. If in doubt, place it first, try it out, make sure it works. And there we are. Hope you enjoy making them, and I'll see you very soon.